Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is January 24th, 2018, and I wanted to give you an update this morning with regards to the knoxnews.com article that has come out with regards to Heather Ann Tucci-Jarraf and Randall Beane. There's an article this morning that is in the knoxnews.com. I will be putting the link for it in the description so you can read it for yourself if you like. I'm going to go ahead and read it here for you. One-time prosecutor turned prominent member of the Sovereign Citizens movement was arrested on a federal indictment handed up by a Knoxville grand jury as she sought to get into a meeting with at the White House with President Donald Trump, testimony Tuesday showed. At a trial this week in U.S. District Court in Knoxville, Heather Ann Tucci-Jarraf is representing herself on charges of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Standing trial alongside her and also representing himself is Randall Keith Beane, 50, of Knoxville, who faces charges of wire and mail fraud, as well as conspiracy to commit money laundering. Both are affiliated with the Sovereign Citizens movement, a loose affiliation of citizens who insist the federal government is illegitimate and often use that mantra as a defense to host financial crimes, including tax evasion and fraud. Testimony Tuesday in Chief U.S. District Judge Tom Varlin's courtroom showed Tucci-Jarraf was arrested in July after she showed up outside the White House and demanded U.S. Secret Service agents allow her inside for a meeting with the president. The same day, she posted a YouTube video about Beane's related arrest in Knoxville. Both are the subject of a Change.org petition by fellow sovereign citizens demanding the pair be freed. Tucci-Jarraf was a licensed lawyer in Oregon who worked for a time as a state prosecutor before she became involved with the Sovereign Citizens movement and soon became a leader in the One People's Public Trust, a group with similar leanings that claim it foreclosed on all world governments and promised followers they could collect a slice of $10 billion in gold and silver using collection notices. The One People's Public Trust dissolved a few years ago, but Tucci-Jarraf remained a well-known legal advisor for sovereign citizens such as Beane, a veteran of the U.S. Air Force who was working for Advantage Innovations in Knoxville. Federal prosecutors Cynthia Davidson and Anne Marie Svalto allege Beane was drowning in debt, having borrowed tens of thousands of dollars from the United Services Automobile Association, an online banking service exclusively catering to current and former military personnel. Check kiting for the modern age. They allege Beane concocted a scheme last year to use automatic delays in the banking system of transfer of money from one bank to another, essentially an online method of the old-fashioned check kiting scheme, to buy certificates of deposit using the Federal Reserve's bank routing number and a fake checking account number, quickly liquidating the CDs and stashing the money in his USAA accounts. USAA allowed its members to make immediate withdrawals before the transaction was approved and funded. We're here today because Randall Keith Beane robbed a bank using just his fingers and a computer, Svalto told jurors Tuesday. Beane allegedly used the scheme to buy $30 million in CDs and managed to liquidate nearly $2 million before USAA discovered the deceit. He used some of the money to pay off debts, bought an $86,000 vehicle, and a $500,000 motorhome, Zlato said. FBI agent Parker Still told jurors his agency learned about the fraud scheme around the same time Beane was making plans to buy the motorhome. A palatial recreational vehicle with 2 bathrooms, marble floors and countertops, and pop-out side rooms from Buddy Gregg Motorhomes in Farragut in July. All of a sudden, we have information Buddy Gregg was going to turn over this mobile home to him, Still testified. I literally jumped up from the computer and ran out the door. We were flying down Interstate 40 with our lights on. When agents arrived, Still said Beane was behind the wheel of the motorhome, which was running, as he prepared to leave Buddy Gregg. The agents repeatedly yelled at Beane to turn off the motorhome and come out, Still said, but he refused. We immediately grabbed Mr. Beane, Still said. He was resisting. I told him to stop resisting. He didn't, and 2 of his friends videoed the fracas with law enforcement and left Beane with a wound to his head, for which Still said he later refused treatment. I was provided a piece of paper with the name Heather on it and told that this was was an attorney for Beane. You should call, Still testified. Still did call, and Tucci-Jarraf told him she was an attorney and made reference to a role in military operations. She is accused of helping Beane set up a trust to try to hide the motorhome purchase. Still said Tucci-Jarraf was arrested a few days later outside the White House after the FBI got a tip from the U.S. Secret Service that she was demanding a meeting with the president. Neither Beane nor Tucci-Jarraf made an opening statement in Tuesday's trial. Tucci-Jarraf asked Still during cross-examination if his agency had or would investigate the Federal Reserve Bank, another government institution sovereign citizens insist is illegitimate, for using unsuspecting American citizens in a financial scheme that she did not explain. Beane used his questioning of Still to complain about his arrest. Do you remember laughing at me, poking at me? Beane asked, adding that he was in the back of a patrol car at the time. Still conceded he laughed when Beane was finally wrested to the ground, handcuffed, and placed in a patrol car. It was a stressful situation, Still said. I'm sure there was laughter. It's not clear yet what specific defense to the charges Beane and Tucci-Jarraf intend to mount. In court pleadings, they've used traditional sovereign citizen tactics, including filing declarations challenging the federal government's authority and legitimacy. The trial continues Wednesday. One of the reasons that I wanted to make sure that this actually went out from my channel, and there is a secondary article, or this article that is secondarily on the Van Bellion channel, in addition, that you can take a look at too, that it reads it to you. But I wanted to make mention that there have been rumors that have been flying around my inbox and several other people's inboxes, making the statement that all charges were dismissed and Heather and Randy have been released, and that's the end of the story. In fact, that is not the end of the story. At this point, trial is going to commence Wednesday. The charges to dismiss were actually drafted by Heather, apparently, and the judge has said, absolutely not, we are declining those. So, just to let everyone know, if you have heard or been told that all charges were dismissed against Heather and Randy Beane, that is not true. They are standing trial. The trial will continue tomorrow, and we will update you as soon as we know anything. I hope everyone is having a good week. We're halfway through it at this point. Everybody have a good day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.